NFL history isn't made in slow motion. It's made in one kick that breaks the record books, one punt that flips a season, and one collapse so brutal it scars a franchise. Tonight, we're not talking about big plays. We're talking about the exact moments you could feel the sport's history shift. NFL history was just made. On November 2nd, 2025, Jaguars kicker Cam Little stepped up and drilled a 68-yard field goal, the longest kick ever made in an NFL game. He didn't just edge the old record, he erased it by 2 full yards, a bomb that left the crossbar behind and shoved Justin Tucker's 66-yarder into second place. This is the new standard for leg strength in the league. Everything after this kick has to live in its shadow. NFL history was just made again, this time off a punter's foot. With under 2 minutes left against Seattle, Rams rookie Ethan Evans hit a perfect coffin corner punt, bouncing it high at the 2 and out of bounds inside the 1. That single kick turned a routine drive into a desperation heave and forced the Seahawks into a 61-yard field goal try they couldn't hit. One swing of the leg, 19 yards of field position, and a punt people are already calling the best of the century. NFL history was just made, in the ugliest way possible. On October 19th, the New York Giants led Denver 26-8 in the fourth quarter, and still managed to lose. The Broncos stormed back, dropped 33, and stole it 33-32, handing the Giants a collapse so brutal, fans immediately started calling it one of the worst choke jobs of the decade, maybe longer. You don't just blow that kind of lead. You etch your name into the permanent file of NFL disasters. NFL history was just made when the Miami Dolphins turned the Denver Broncos into a statistic. 70-20. 70 points in a modern NFL game, the most any team has scored since 1966. Mike McDaniel's offense didn't just run up the score, it obliterated the idea that today's league is too balanced for college-style numbers. There was a choice at the end: kick the record-breaking field goal for 73 or show mercy. They took a knee. The scoreboard was already a crime scene. NFL history was just made in Minneapolis when the Vikings crawled out of a 33-0 grave. Down 33 at halftime to the Colts, they were dead, done, buried. Then Kirk Cousins started ripping the ball, Justin Jefferson and KJ Osborne started carving up the secondary, and slowly the scoreboard flipped from embarrassment to disbelief. 39-36 in overtime, the largest comeback in NFL history, regular season or playoffs. Every blown lead from that day forward gets compared to this one, and almost all of them come up short. Before Cam Little, this was the shot everyone thought would stand forever. Week 3, 2021, Detroit. Justin Tucker lines up a 66-yard field goal as time expires, the longest attempt ever in a regular season game, and he hits it. Off the crossbar, straight up and through. 1917 Ravens. A record breaker, a walk-off, and a kick so absurd it turned a dome into a tomb. For 4 years, this was the undisputed king of long-range kicks. Then Cam Little pushed the line out to 68 and showed the arms race isn't over. NFL history was just made in the most horrifying way possible. January 2nd, 2023, Bills vs. Bengals, Monday night. Safety. Damar Hamlin made a routine tackle, stood up, and then collapsed. His heart stopped. On live television, in front of millions. CPR and AED on the field. 16 minutes of chaos and prayer before he was rushed away in an ambulance. That night rewired the entire league. Emergency plans, AED access, CPR training, how teams think about worst case on a football field. And somehow, impossibly, Hamlin came back. Not just to walk, to play. It's the most traumatic moment the sport has ever broadcast, and one of its most miraculous recoveries. NFL history was just made the night 28-3 stopped being a score and became a curse. Super Bowl 51. The Falcons were up 28-3 on Tom Brady and the Patriots with a little over 20 minutes left. A coronation, a blowout, a dynasty in Atlanta's hands. Then Brady turned the game into a math problem the Falcons couldn't solve. Drive after drive, James White, Danny Amendola, Julian Edelman, and that impossible bobbling catch dragged New England all the way back. First overtime in Super Bowl history. Patriots 34, Falcons 28. The greatest comeback the championship stage has ever seen, and a permanent scar that still defines Atlanta football. NFL history was just made long before any of this, back when a backup named Frank Reich walked into a nightmare and refused to leave. Wild card 1993, Bills vs. Oilers. Houston up 35-3. Buffalo's season finished before halftime. Then Reich started hitting Beebe and Andre Reed, one touchdown after another, until a funeral turned into a riot. 41-38 in overtime. The largest postseason comeback ever, and the original template for every "no way they pull this off" finish you've watched since. Every time you see a team down 4 scores and someone says, "Remember the Bills," this is the game they're talking about. These aren't just highlights. They're fault lines in the sport. Kicks that moved the record book, collapses that rewired franchises, and comebacks that proved the clock doesn't get the final word. Cam Little from 68. Ethan Evans to the 1. The Giants' collapse, the Dolphins' 70, the Vikings' resurrection, Damar Hamlin's second life. NFL history keeps getting rewritten in one violent, impossible moment at a time. And somewhere on some future Sunday, the next NFL History Was Just Made is already lining up. If you want more stories of NFL greatness and heart, hit subscribe, drop a like, and stick around. The next chapter of football history is already waiting.